day, I discovered in my husband's coat pocket a receipt for a luxury brand bag of women's goods. I suspected my husband and hired a detective agency. The result is guilty. Immediately, I consulted my in-laws and plotted certain sanctions. Later in the day, my husband lied to me that he's gonna go on a business trip, then left on for an affair trip. Then, I got a call from my husband who was traveling. He asked me to take care of his parents while he was away.
It is not necessary for me to take care of them, because they went to your place.
The next thing I knew, I heard my parents-in-law's angry voice over the phone and my husband's surprised voice. I revealed everything to my bewildered husband. My name is Gina. I am a 28-year-old office worker. I have been married with my husband Mark for 3 years, but we don't have children yet. Frankly, at my age, many people around me are raising children, but I have reasons for wanting to do it a little later. That's because my business is on track now. I am independent when looking at me positively, but when you look at it negatively, I dislike someone ordering me what to do. I was very particular about my work, and I did not want to quit when I got married. My husband Mark agreed to me of continuing my work, so I am continuing to work. But there was one thing that I was concerned with, about the parents-in-law. Parents-in-laws always say to me, "You can quit your job if you want, Mark's income is enough to live," and so on, from the very beginning of our marriage. I know they are not bad people, but their approach to work did not match with mine. It has still not changed until now, and they always bring up this topic of my working. Perhaps it was the proximity of my in-laws' house, or perhaps they were simply unable to let their children to go. But my in-laws visited our home every weekend to have dinner with us, and they would meddle in my life. Particularly persistent was my mother-in-law, Claire.
The laundry basket is full. I'll take care of it.
Don't worry, I can handle with it. I was working late yesterday, so I figured I'd do it today.
I see. If housework is too much for you, you can quit your job.
My job is very rewarding, and I don't want to quit now.
I know that, but I am saying this because I care about you and Mark's future.
Dusts.
There was more I wanted to say, but I knew that nothing would come out even if I did argue with her. And nothing Claire said was meant to be offensive. It is obvious that they don't understand my thinking, so I kept feeling uneasy around them. But even in that situation, Mark supports neither sides and he never tries to stop our conversation. I guess he wants to stay away from trouble.
Mark, can you help me and talk to your mother? I hate it when people ask me to quit my job every time.
I had tried saying that, but Mark responded like this.
I have nothing to do with this, so you solve the problem yourself.
It does have something to do with our lives.
Well, I didn't mean about your work, and I'm sure Mom doesn't mean that in a mean way.
I was so dismayed by this irresponsible response that I quickly gave up on relying on my husband Mark for this. In the meantime, Mark began to work overtime more and more, and the opportunities for conjugal conversation dwindled. I was busy with work and didn't pay attention to such things. But one day, as our 4th wedding anniversary approached, I suddenly realized something. I wanted to spend some quality time together as a couple on this day at least, so I made the suggestion to Mark when he got home.
It's our anniversary next week. Why don't you come home early and relax a little?
Then Mark said, as if he just remembered.
After I went, yup, you're right. I've been so busy lately, I don't know if I can go home early. I am searching job after all free.
Is there any big project that you have now?
Where, sort of meet me.
Can you just come home on time that day?
It's impossible. I'm just Christian of Valerie. Liz.
I see.
Mark didn't tell me any further details and headed off to the shower. I didn't repeat and ask him any more questions, as I do not like to interfere in other people's affairs. I was very disappointed because we celebrated every year, but I guess he is quite busy with work. Still, I was a little stuck on one point. Until last year, Mark said it was a no overtime day today and he came home early once a month. That's once a month.
I have an idea.
And these words from my mother-in-law set everything in motion. Business trip.
With that being said, take care of my mom and dad for me, will you?
I was blown away by his words.
Was it so funny? Because both of them headed to your place.
That's when it happened. Jack's voice sounded so loud that I could hear it clearly over the phone.
Ricky here. Hi to Kristen. Above, I'm right.
Where are you here, Dad? Right, were you about?
I could not contain my laughter at the appearance of my in-laws, whose timing was too good to be true. I asked for it to sanction cheating trips.
What kind of misunderstanding is that?
Are you on a business trip? Jessica is most junior staff at the company. Nice.
She must be a very close junior. I even have proof.
Wow, Faith!
or to eat anyway. In response to my husband's words, Claire seemed to show Mark what I had given her.
Why do you have these photos?
You can't get away with this anymore.
As soon as I yelled that, I heard a loud popping sound and my husband scream. Apparently, my father-in-law Jack slapped Mark's face. Next episodes, immediately after that, I heard Jack and Claire preaching to Mark.
You asshole! How about you, Ray? Does you think he'll be forgiven?
Tina is working so hard to balance work and housework. You are disgusting.
Next to them, I could also hear the sobbing of a woman who is called Jessica. I'm the one who wants to cry. With that in mind, I told my husband one last thing.
I will divorce you.
No way!
You have no right to say that.
It's about just a little bit of a fluke. You're doing what I love, Gina.
I'm truly appalled that my husband would say such a thing now.
That's enough. I'm tired of talking to you. I've asked your parents to take care of the rest, so please talk to them.
And hung up the phone. After that, and he eventually signed the divorce papers that I left with them. Of course, alimony was also charged to both of them. Both Mark and the unfaithful partner were pale when they saw the bill. But such is the price of adultery, I suppose. The unfaithful partner blamed Mark for being found out about the affair, and became angry with him. Then she broke up with him. The cheating partner left the company after the breakup, and that's when she revealed everything to the company. She wanted Mark punished for the trouble because he was the one causing trouble to her. The company could not just let this slide, and Mark was demoted and given a pay cut. With his reduced salary, he could not afford the alimony and rent for the apartment which we used to live in. So he moved to a cheap, shabby apartment. Furthermore, he started working part-time on his days off. And my in-laws told me that they would not provide any financial support to Mark, but they would responsibly monitor him until he paid off his alimony. For me, I have moved to a new apartment closer to work, and I am working harder than ever. Living alone is very comfortable, because I don't have to worry about household chores. I'm working in an environment where I can focus more on my work. It is rewarded with the goal of promotion.